1Password is counting its 19th year, and it's no small feat. But there are so many password managers compared to 2006 when they just got started. So does 1Password still hold up, or should you look at newer options? In this 1Password review, I'll share what I found during my time testing this provider and show you how to use this app to its full potential. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler. I honestly do think 1Password is worth a try. So if you don't have a subscription yet, I'm going to leave you a coupon code in the description, or you can just scan this QR code to sign up for a personal plan. But first, let me show you exactly why I think 1Password is one of the best password manager picks. In my eyes, 1Password has one of the strongest security cores among password managers. One of the main things is a zero-knowledge model. In human language, that means 1Password employees, or anyone else for that matter, cannot see the information you store in your vault. Yeah, it gets stored on their servers, but only fully encrypted. So even if an attacker somehow gets access to that database, they'd only see a random mash of symbols. Even with the world's most powerful supercomputer ever, manually decrypting that would take longer than the age of the universe. Also, if a threat actor would somehow get a hold of your password, they wouldn't be able to log in from another device without a secret key. It's a sequence of characters that only you have, as it never gets sent to 1Password. Still, make sure your master password is strong, and you can also enable multi-factor authentication, which is simply an additional 1Password login step for maximum account protection. In case you're scared of forgetting the master password or losing the secret key, you get an emergency kit which you can print out and put in a safe place. Stuff like this isn't provided by every password manager, so honestly, finding and confirming all these secure things for this 1Password review left a great first impression on me. Not to mention that all this isn't just a trust me bro kind of deal. 1Password has a long list of various certifications, audits, and penetration tests from various third-party security companies, so they truly mean business. Given all these security measures, I found it quite surprising that 1Password doesn't cost more than it does. Right now it's less than $3 per month for an individual plan. But if you have somebody to share the account with, even if it's one other person, it makes more sense to grab a family plan. It turns out cheaper per person, hosts up to 5 members, and each gets their own individual vault. What's also pretty cool is that even if you use a 1Password coupon code for a better deal, 1Password will still force you into a 14-day free trial, so you'll be able to get a feel for the app before fully committing. So now let me show you all the perks and features the 1Password Manager app contains. I figured I can do this in the form of a 1Password tutorial, so you'll see what using the app feels like. So once you install and download the app, you should see a window like this, and you can start adding your information right away. Just click this little new item button and pick a category. It's likely going to be a password, but you can also add stuff like credit card info, addresses, documents, anything digital that you'd like to keep safe. And yes, you can even add files in there, but while there's no limit on passwords, keep in mind not to go over 1 GB of data with files. Anyway, once you choose a category, simply fill out the information and click to save it into a vault of your choice. If you're a bit confused on what is 1Password Vault, it's basically a folder. You can create a bunch of those with the plus button in the sidebar to keep things neat and organized. Now, I'm willing to bet that you have passwords already saved somewhere else, likely in your browser or maybe another password manager. But you add them into the 1Password Vault all at once, usually by exporting them from a previous place via a CSV file. Then you just drop that into the 1Password import feature, which is either in the 3-dot menu here, or if you're using a map, in the file part of the menu bar. Now, if you're creating an entirely new login, there's a password generator to come up with a strong password for you. And don't worry about it being an unmemorable mess. You won't need to ever remember a password anymore. Well, except for the master one to access the vault. While you can do the good old copy-paste, and that works, the password gets auto-cleared from your clipboard after a time that you can set in the settings. But that's not what I had in mind. What I mean is adding the 1Password extension to your browser, and it will both autofill your existing logins and suggest to autosave new ones. Once you have everything in the vault, I recommend checking for repeating or weak passwords, and you can see which ones those are in the Watchtower feature. This tool also checks for any leaks or breaches related to your saved information using data from the Have I Been Pawned database. But wait, there's more! The Watchtower will let you know which of your accounts with passwords can be converted into passkeys. These are more secure, passwordless logins that work by confirming your identity, which can be done with your fingerprint, Face ID, or a PIN code. This way there's no password being sent over to the website or stored in a server where it has the potential to be hacked. So yeah, I recommend updating to passkeys for at least the most important accounts. You can also share both passkeys and passwords or whatever else you put in the 1Password vault with others via a link. I like that I'm able to send specific settings like when the info is going to expire. If you opt for the family plan, you'll also be able to share specific vaults. This is why 1Password is one of the most convenient options for families. Not many other password managers have this function. Speaking of unique features, 1Password also stands out with travel mode. It removes selected vaults from your device when you're crossing the border. Just mark the vaults you want to keep as safe for travel, and then once you turn on travel mode, all the unsafe vaults will disappear. Temporarily, of course. 1Password also has a feature called privacy cards, which lets you generate unique virtual card numbers. You can create one-time use cards, lock a card to a specific merchant, and set spending limits. So if a store ever gets hacked, your real card details will remain safe. And while yes, there are quite a lot of features at your disposal, I'd say that 1Password has one of the user-friendliest apps out there. I wouldn't even hesitate to set it up for my parents. Even they'd figure it out if I ever managed to convince them to use a password manager. So yeah, you can probably tell that overall my 1Password review is very positive. Overwhelmingly even. I usually like nitpicking things out of software like this, but this time at best I can complain that the autofill doesn't always kick in. Yeah, that's the case with basically any password manager. Otherwise, 1Password has extremely strict security, useful features, and a well-made app. What more could I ask for? So, if you're considering 1Password, definitely give it a try, especially knowing you'll have no choice but to take their 14-day free trial. Just don't forget to grab a discount from the description to make sure that after the trial you are getting the best possible price. Then come back and share your thoughts on this password manager. I will meet you in the comments. Cheers.